welcome into another episode of a Colorado Craft podcast by Mile High Bourbon and Rye. My name is Zach, and I am the host of the show. If this is your first time listening, welcome. This is a show where we talk about Colorado craft. That can be anything from beverages, spirits, wines, beers. I've interviewed photographers, I've interviewed architects, I've interviewed trail makers, all sorts of stuff. So if it's crafted in Colorado, I want to talk about it and share it with all of you guys. Today, we're doing something a little bit different, still focused all around Colorado craft beverages, but I am here with my very good friend, Ben.
Hello.
And we are going to be pairing some of our favorite video games, as well as some of your favorite video game suggestions from online polls. We chose two of those with some Colorado craft spirits, what we think kind of fits best to play and sip along while you play. So we'll go ahead and just kind of get diving right into that. I'll go through the list of the six that I have, which I didn't actually write down the six specifically like a very not intelligent person. But what we've got is my picks for this are the 2018 God of War release, the second newest God of War, and the original Halo Combat Evolved. Not the anniversary, the original Halo Combat Evolved. Ben, your picks?
My picks were two of my very favorite games. I picked Batman Arkham Knight, although really I wanted to pick the whole series, the whole franchise, because I really like those games. And I did a big throwback to the 90s. It was one of the first games I remember playing as a real young kid. It's The Secret of Monkey Island. If you guys remember when George Lucas used to make video games, this was one of their kind of crown jewels in the LucasArts catalog.
Excellent. Yeah, the Arkham Knight game I was familiar with. I actually was not familiar with The Secret of Monkey Island, so I had to look that one up.
That whole style of game is pretty well out of style at this point, so it's not surprising unless you were like really keyed in when you were, I think, 4. That one probably passed you by.
And I was not, but my goodness, that game just looks delightful.
Oh, it's so fun.
And there's a remastered, remade version of it on Xbox right now for $10.
It's also on Steam. It's pretty much everywhere. The remasters are, and you can play them in the original. I think it must have been 8-bit back then.
Yeah.
With like no dialogue, and everyone's just pixels gesticulating wildly. It's great. But then they also do voices, and they've remastered all the artwork. Delightful games, all of them.
So definitely check those ones out. And then we chose two, just to try and keep the episode from going crazy, crazy long, from the polls that we got. There were a lot of really good suggestions, but the two we settled on were The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask, which is top tier all-time game.
Absolutely.
And Claire Obscure Expedition 33.
New kid on the block, but boy does it deserve to be here.
Man, I have not gotten all the way through it yet, so that was a hard one for me to... Well, actually, it was relatively easy for me to pair. I think my pairing works really great from what I've seen so far, but I can't wait. I don't understand a thing that's happening still. Like, little bits are becoming clearer, but that game it's really good.
It's great, isn't it? Like, it's one of those ones that, I remember hyping this up to you and being like, ooh, I hope he's not disappointed if he ever plays it, but sounds like no.
No, so far I've been super thrilled with it.
Great.
The graphics, the artwork design, it's like bits of it are almost photorealistic looking in pieces, but it's got a very bright and arty, colorful sort of design with this crazy darkish undertone to everything.
It sort of feels like the art team was just told, like, don't think about marketability, just draw whatever you think looks cool, and they went ham. It doesn't look like anything else out there. It's so inventive and ethereal, but it's also grounded.
Yeah. Oh, it's wonderful. Excellent so far. And I think for this particular episode, we're going to do the two recommended or the two suggested games off of the polls first. So let's just start with Claire Obscure Expedition 33. I'd love to hear what you selected to pair with that.
So now me, if you know anything about the game at all, there's not a lot of old fogies hanging around in that particular world. 4 reasons. So I chose from Bookcliff, local vineyard. I chose their Albarino because it's supposed to be drank young, and if you're waiting for a bottle of Cab to mature, I got some bad news for you in that game.
You might not be able to pop that bottle open.
Yeah. Next year? Is that? Can you wait that long?
That's a good choice. The Albarino is excellent. Bookcliff is.
I mean,
a
Albarino
wonderful-
it's so unusual to even have a Colorado Albarino. It's one of my favorite varietals.
Yeah.
So I just thought it was...
And actually, I'm not. Does Bookcliff grow that one?
They
here?
do. As far as I know, actually, now that you bring it up, I'm not sure that they do. This is an odd climate for Albarino.
Yeah, and that was my thought as well. Is it might not be grown here, still produced here. It's still Colorado craft.
Possible. I didn't look into that. I should have.
That's all right. Because I love Bookcliff.
Oh,
too.
they're great,
Like,
yeah.
their wines are absolutely phenomenal. So, I think that's a really good choice. I love that. That's wonderful.
I tried to make all of mine like thematic, like appropriate to the themes of the game.
Yeah. So mine, I went spirits for all of mine. I tried to wedge a wine and a beer in there, but they didn't work as well as the spirits. So I went I went whiskey for everything because of course I did. But my pick is what you're currently sipping on for this game, and that would be the Laws Calvados Experiential series. And there's the reasoning that I had behind that is, like I said, I haven't got all the way through it, so I don't know all of the themes. The young makes sense to me already, even though I don't understand why it's happening that way, but it does. I understand that it happens, so I get the pairing. Yep.
That's a theme that they really push in your face to great tragic effect right at the very beginning.
Right off the bat. Yep. But so what I really liked about is kind of what we talked about with the art style and the general feel of the game is there's a ton of color. There's a lot of kind of artisticness. The Calvados, the game has obviously a very French tone to it as soon as you start.
Deeply French aesthetic, yes.
Yep. And so I thought Calvados would kind of fit
Absolutely.
mostly well with that. On top of that, though, there's a lot of depth to it, even as early in the game as I am. And there's story. There's a lot of everything kind of built in, which I think Laws does a great job of embodying all of that.
Can confirm. A lot of depth.
And the last piece that I really like about that one pairing with that is that the Laws Experiential series is an experimental type of whiskey. They try to take something that people aren't really doing. I don't see a lot of Calvados finished whiskeys in the market.
I'm sure it's hard even to find a Calvados barrel that hasn't already been snapped up. I'm
Yeah.
sure that was a pretty big get for them.
So I think that's awesome. And I feel this game, as I'm starting it off, because it's turn-based but with reaction time still in it, like it's real-time combat but turn-based combat at the same time. The theme, the story, everything seems different from anything else. So I thought experimental and experiential both fit from Laws Whiskey perfectly with what this game is.
That's phenomenal. That's great. We didn't even ask each other, but I chose like themes of story and you chose themes of gameplay.
Yeah.
That's great.
And I think, works.
How
wonderfully.
serendipitous.
And this is actually a really good point to throw out here too. It sounds like we have a couple of picks that are going to be, I don't know if they'll be for the same game, but it sounds like we may have chose a couple of distilleries, even a similar bottle.
Yeah. I was a little worried that this might happen, although I figured, it's such a wide sea of craft stuff in Colorado.
Yeah.
What are the odds?
Yep.
But nope, two of them.
Two of them, which is excellent. But we had no idea what each other chose leading into this, and so that was, I think that makes this a lot more fun as well. I enjoy hearing about that and being able to know like real time and let everybody else hear kind of the same reaction, right? So that's a great choice. And now I really want an Albarino because I haven't had one in so long.
They're delightful. They're great summer wines. This is maybe the last month that it would be like good to drink one.
Yeah.
It's a little porch poundy sometimes for winter.
Yeah.
But
that's fair.
I do love Albarino.
Yeah, once the winter comes around, I do like them to be a little
warmer,
a little more red.
A little richer, a little rounder.
But yeah, that's fair. The Albarino, man, that works great, and I love the thematic element that you chose with that one. That's really good. All right, so we'll do the second pick from suggestions off of online, and that was The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask, which is...
all time in the series, probably all time just in video games.
Yeah, it has to be, right?
Yeah,
no doubt about that. So that game, man, if you haven't played that game yet and you are a video game enjoyer, go play it now. It's available on Nintendo Switch, has it as well in their Nintendo 64 pack.
Yeah.
It's available on the 3DS as the remake, although I like the original graphics better than the 3DS.
Do you?
Yeah.
I kind of appreciate them both. I like the quality of life in the remake. The old one was, because, they turned it around they only had like 14 months to make the whole game.
I know, it was such a fast
So
turnaround.
it's not surprising that the quality of life isn't like great in that game. There's a few things that are a little clunky that they kind of improved, like the Bomber's Notebook, how you keep track of all your side quests.
Yeah.
I think for gameplay, It's probably better to play the remake. It's a little easier to sink into these days, but there's a lot of, you're right, there's a lot of charm to the original graphics.
And probably a huge nostalgia factor for me, right?
Sure. But, anything before 10 years ago is going to have a nostalgia factor to it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even the Halo Combat Evolved has a huge nostalgia
that's
factor.
like 25 years old. That's not a spring chicken anymore.
That hurt when I... it's just like in the terms of feeling old, real quick tangent, as I just recently got to join the Locked On Avalanche podcast. The first week I'm on there, former Avalanche player retired. And I found out that his birthday is 1 month after mine.
Ooh.
So a younger person than me is retiring from their professional sports career, and I've officially hit the age where like I'm starting to feel that. So the 25-year-old, that's just another blow. I don't want to think about that. That's
fine. Getting old is great.
Yeah.
You got to be grumpy.
That's true.
And no one tells you to stop.
Can't wait to be a grumpy old man. That's true.
So
yeah, that's going to be great. So, but no, Legend of Zelda, I agree. I think the quality of life improvements were phenomenal for the remakes of it, for the remasters. And I like all of the graphics for the scenery, for everything that you go through. I don't like the way they made Link look in either Ocarina of Time model? Or
Yeah, I could agree with that. Because they didn't redo all the models, they just kind of like tweaked up the textures to look a little nicer, but they fully redid Link's character model, which does make him stand out in kind of an odd way.
Yeah, and it doesn't work right for me, and it takes me out of some of the enjoyment. I don't get the same that I did from playing it originally.
Can't quite like lose yourself in it because
exactly.
you notice the gaminess, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
That's valid. I'm not sure I had quite the same complaint with it.
Fair.
But no, I still like it.
Yeah. No, and it's easily, like I said, one of my top games of all time. So my pairing for that one, I went with something that is an established Colorado franchise, much like Legend of Zelda, even before Majora's Mask, which is now
that's
35 years old.
More.
36
or 37.
Oh, yeah, because
it came out in the 80s, man.
No, Majora's Mask
No,
is
not
90s.
Majora's Mask. No, Majora's Mask came out in 97.
No, Zelda is like 40-something years old, yeah.
I think Majora's Mask came out 97, 98.
That sounds right, yep.
Because it was a year after Ocarina of Time, which I want to say was 97.
That also sounds right, but I'm not going to totally swear to
I remember that I had a pneumatic device for this because it was like 7 years in development and Link is 7 years old and it came out in 97, although I might be Mandela affecting myself on this.
That's possible.
Yeah.
That's part of getting older.
That's right. Who are you again?
Yeah, exactly. So my choice for that, like I said, is an established Colorado franchise, one of the oldest distilleries in the state, and that is Stranahan's. But the one that I chose for that is their Brewer's Cask Select. And again, because Majora's Mask is such an out there, different, it doesn't revolve around the same even locale that basically every other Zelda game takes place in.
It's very its own thing, as much as, such a, I don't want to say formulaic, but it's an established, blueprint for a franchise like Zelda has. It's very much its own thing.
Yeah, because every other Zelda game almost, not quite, but almost is Link versus evil Ganon, and Princess Zelda is in there in some fashion.
Yeah, she's not even in the game.
No, she doesn't even exist.
She shows up in like one cutscene to be like, "You should leave. I'm not coming with you."
Have a good trip. And so I think that was like, that's why I like the Brewer's Cask, is because it's a stout beer finished Stranahan's, which gives you a lot of the same feelings and a like very familiar feeling. And then when you start Majora's Mask and you see all of the residents of Clocktown, because they had to reuse so many assets, everybody is familiar if you played Ocarina of Time.
A little bit uncanny almost.
Yeah. And so, but there's just enough different to it.
Yeah.
And there's that kind of undertone of, man, I don't even know how to describe the undertone of Majora's Mask.
Melancholy?
There's so many, yeah.
Malaise?
And so you get that
nihilism?
Dark stout beer, I think, works kind of well with that on there.
Absolutely.
So you've got the still uplifting bright notes that Stranahan's malt whiskey does, but the dark tone of the malt, or of the malt from the stout beer does really well, I think, as well. So that was my choice for that one. I think those two pair pretty nicely together. I really enjoy both that bottle from Stranahan's and that game is just excellent.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was trying to connect more to the themes of the game, like I said, and it was really hard to justify to me why Link might be drinking. So, and I also didn't want to be like, what pairs great with depression?
That's fair.
So I chose a cider, actually, from Snowcap Ciders.
Wonderful.
One of their reserve series that comes in the champagne bottle that's like cask aged. I chose their Kingston Black, which is like, it's a single varietal cider, and it's like, it's nothing flashy, it's not like fancy, it's just an example of doing something really, really well.
Okay.
And if you think about it, cider is almost apple juice, which
Yeah.
I could see Link drinking, especially if CPS doesn't mind getting involved in his life.
Right? Well, he does go to the milk bar.
That's true, yeah.
And as long as he wears that mask, or the mask, he
He's
can
basically
drink
like fake IDing his way to the milk bar.
Because let's be honest, that milk bar is some very adult milk.
That's like some Clockwork Orange milk
that
being
is
served in there.
Yeah, that is certainly not the type of milk that we all drink out of our refrigerator on a regular basis. So I like that choice a lot because, I mean, I love ciders.
Me too.
They're fun. They're great. I really like that. I think that works well, exactly as you described. It's another excellent pairing choice.
Oh, thank you.
This has been wicked cool so far, and we've still got 4 more picks to go.
Yeah, I love this.
Awesome. We will start off with the 4 picks. What we're going to do next is we're going to go one of mine, one of Ben's, one of mine, one of Ben's for our last 4 games here. But we are going to take a quick break to talk to you about our wonderful affiliate program. All right, everybody, let me tell you real quick about my new affiliate partnership with PayDirt DFS. PayDirt DFS is a daily fantasy sports model site, and if you are a fan of daily fantasy sports, you want to increase your ability to play the game, you want to make it fun if you're a beginner, you want to get that edge if you are a competitive DFS player, you need to check out PayDirt Analytics. With thousands, millions of data points, constantly churning through, he's putting out some of the best models that there are for daily fantasy sports. Go check it out. Follow the link in the show notes to get over there now. By following that link, you not only will support and get yourself some great DFS stats supporting PayDirt DFS, but it also helps support me and this show as well. So go check it out. Follow that link down in the show notes. Enjoy playing daily fantasy sports again and get a pretty good edge with the sports season really in full swing as NFL, NHL, and NBA are all in season right now. So check that out. Again, that is PayDirt Analytics. Thank you so much for partnering with us to help support the show. And now back to today's episode. All right. Thank you for listening to that, and back now to the show. We are going to start with my picks. And so when I did this, what I put out on there was 2 single-player story-driven games, one from the last 10 years and one from before the last 10 years. So a more recent game and then a more kind of legacy type of style game.
Kind of an all-time versus recency kind of thing.
Exactly, yeah. And I think people came through with suggestions excellently on that online, which is how we got Clair Obscure and Majora's Mask.
I mean, I looked at all the suggestions that came in. Any one of those would have been like so fun.
Yeah.
Like there's really great suggestions.
And there's a possibility that I do another one like this in the future because this I love stuff like this. Just pairing these things is a blast and being able to talk about them.
That's a fun little exercise.
And so I'm going to go with my recent game first. I'll let you choose whether you want to do your recent game or your...
I'll do recent first, sure.
Okay, awesome. So I'm going to start with God of War 2018. Much in the same way when you said earlier on your game picks, you wanted to pick all of the Batman Arkham series.
I would have loved to. I could talk for hours about those games.
I really wanted to do both God of War and God of War Ragnarok. Because...
I mean, it's basically one big story.
It really is.
You know, it's like when someone says, what's a good Lord of the Rings movie? You're like, well, they're all one big movie.
Right. It's a 9-hour movie.
Yeah,
I don't
exactly.
understand what you're talking about.
Yeah.
You're going to watch Lord of the Rings, you block off your day and you watch Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, got some pairings to go with that too, so we can do that as well sometime. But so God of War, I think, is another one that kind of took a little bit of sort of an experimental approach to their established format.
Very much.
Because the established God of War format prior to the 2018 was hack and slash, gore,
just huge hyperviolence.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And I'll admit, especially teenage me was all about that.
So into it.
Those games were an absolute blast. But then, like, I feel I've matured probably a little bit since I was a teenager. Just a little bit. Maybe. Those games certainly did. The themes in that are a heck of a lot different than they were before.
Oh, yeah.
And obviously Kratos, main character, had to grow up. It's recent enough that I probably won't try to go through. I won't try to spoil anything if I can, because people may still want to play that and haven't before. But my pairing for this one is going to be from Talnua Distillery. And I chose their Aries series, Volume 1. Now, I knew you'd get a laugh out of that.
Very apropos.
Yeah, there. Obviously, the name Aries just made it fit very, very nicely in there, I thought. But the biggest reason that I like that is because, again, they took, similar to what Stranahan's did with the Brewer's Cask, they did something outside of their box and made a little bit different style. They tried to experiment with something. They even call it an experimental series. And it's a dark whiskey. It's got a lot of those, but it's got a lot of bright flavors at the same time to it. So some darker undertones, but some nice bright. It's very good, sipper. And I think that fits well in there because there's a lot of darkness in that game.
Right, but there's tons of moments of levity that don't keep you so dour and down.
Exactly. And it balances it. There's a wonderful balance that gets struck, I think, through that game, all the way up to the finish of the game, which
right in the heartstrings.
Oh my gosh, it ends.
It's amazing.
It somehow ends perfectly to end and also set up the next game.
Yeah, because they weren't really sure if that was going to be, a knockout of the park success like it turned out to be.
Yeah.
So they were like, well, we have to be able to end it if we're not going to get greenlit for another game. But, they did.
Oh, yeah, because that game was
such a good ending, though.
Yeah.
If that was the end of the series, that was the end of the franchise as a whole, that would be, really
it would
great
be
ending.
a great way to go out on.
100%.
And I actually think if they don't continue, which they're going to because they're making money off of it.
Go figure.
But I think Ragnarok did a very good job of finishing the same way. So a lot of credit to Santa Monica Studios because I don't think story-driven gameplay always has those great endings anymore.
No.
And they crushed it 2 games in a row.
Mm-hmm.
But the finish of the Talnua as well, very, just wonderful finish. Lasts long, leaves a very long-lasting taste in your mouth. I knew what I meant. I meant what I knew. And so it just something that sticks with you for a very long time even after you sip, which is exactly how I felt the ending of God of War 2018 did as well.
Sure.
And then, of course, you can't have the Talnua Ares without Ares, and you don't have God of War Kratos without Ares. So we had to tie that in there a little bit too.
Ares is kind of an important character.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah. So me still trying to pair with the themes of the emotions of the game or the story of the game. I chose a melomel, which is a type of mead actually.
Okay.
It's mead that is also honey and fruit juice mixed together and fermented.
Ooh. Which
is lovely. The one I chose was Miracle Stag. I believe they're in Loveland.
Okay, yeah.
And they make a melomel called Frigg's Cherry, which is just what it sounds like. It's mead and cherry juice.
Yeah.
And I thought it was just a really good way to kind of mix where Kratos was and where Kratos is in this 4th game because, he starts off as a Greek demigod and then he abandons that life and he moves north and he gets embroiled in Norse mythology in the game. So it's a whole different pantheon, it's a whole different conflicts, it's a whole different cosmology. But I thought that, the fermented fruit juice, which is what wine is, and the fermented honey, which is mead, was just a really great marriage of his past and his present.
Okay.
Which is what the game is.
I love that.
It's a new start, but it doesn't let go of the old stuff.
Yeah.
And it's just a kind of synergy, and I thought that was really good. And also, Frigg's Cherry is just very nice. I think a lot of melomels, the fruit in them tends to overpower the mead, which is a lot more delicate of a flavor.
Okay.
But they struck, I thought, a really nice balance with this, where it just tastes like mead with a little cherry, instead of cherry that's sweeter than it should be.
Okay. Now I'm going to have to try that one.
If you go up to Loveland, do a flight of, they have several melomels, and they're all really excellent.
Okay.
Just, get a flight of them.
Well, and I do love mead.
Oh, yeah, me too.
I will, let's see, when did... Geez, Skyrim's freaking old now, too. That's what...
That was 2010.
Yeah.
It's 15 years.
That's... Good grief. That's difficult to think about. But when that first came out, I turned 21 a little bit after that, and I was still playing that game all the time. And so I remember I was 21, I went to the liquor store, and I bought myself a big old bottle of mead and just sat there and drank that and played that game all evening. So...
big old bottle of skooma.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
I heard I'm sure it came from Reddit, but it was one of the things about Skyrim is that none of the food that you can drink in the game is non-alcoholic.
Oh.
So you're not actually casting magic. What you're doing is you're just getting super drunk and going around being like, I'm a dragon!
That's brilliant.
It's so funny.
I love that.
It fits so well.
Oh, a little bit of wormwood mead makes you hallucinate as well. They're like, you think the guard's telling you, oh my god, you're the Dragonborn, and in reality he's like, what did you just do? You killed him!
That's civilian! You're going to jail! Like, you're welcome.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love that. That might be new headcanon when I play that game.
Oh yeah, it's all up here at this point, yeah.
That's phenomenal. Absolutely excellent. I haven't played that for a while either. I don't think it's time to revisit it yet because I put way too many hours into it, but I'll go visit God of War again before I'll go visit that.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you play Skyrim anyway, basically you're just like, how do I want to turn into a stealth archer this time?
Right? I've got such a good magic build, and I'm a stealth archer. Yep, every time. But yeah, I think I'll probably... The God of War pairings, again, excellent choice. Crushing it on this. This has been wonderful. But that has a strong case, in my opinion, for my favorite game of all time.
Is the God of War reboot?
Yeah.
It's a great game.
It's just wonderfully done. Everything about it. So if you haven't played that one, hopefully we didn't spoil too much. Go check it out, because it is fun.
I hope we didn't spoil anything.
I don't think we did. I think we hit themes. I think we hit everything really well, and hopefully talked it up enough that somebody will want to go check it out.
I mean, I hope we said it's good enough times that people believe us.
Yeah, well, hopefully they believe me on something at least. If you don't believe my whiskey recommendations, at least believe my video game ones.
On this whiskey podcast.
Yeah, I tell everybody all the time, man, not only is taste subjective, but I have no idea what I'm talking about. I just really enjoy talking about it. So let's go with your more recent game here.
So my more recent game is actually predates yours, but not by too much.
Okay.
I think it came out in 2017.
Okay.
Just I'm trying to think of where I was living at the time it came out and what job I took 2 days off work from to play it.
Nice.
So
that's a great way to know when something happened.
So mine was Batman Arkham Knight, and I specifically chose Arkham Knight not because it's my favorite in the franchise. I think they're all phenomenal, although on balance I would probably say Arkham City, which was one of the recommendations that came in, which really warmed my heart to know that I wasn't the only weirdo out there who put too many hours into that game. But what I chose, because one of the major things that happens, and I'm going to spoil a little bit here, the Joker is dead by the time Arkham Knight starts up, and Batman is having hallucinations all throughout the game of the Joker showing up and like really messing with him and kind of like infecting his brain and making him more aggressive and more violent and kind of trying to like egg him on into becoming Batman, but also the Joker. And so I chose State 38 Damn Smooth Absinthe.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Spectacular. You know what this means too, though, is we chose the same distillery for this game, which means we have a good chance of having, of the two distilleries that we chose the same, they could be on the same games.
I bet you're right.
And I bet you that's exactly what happened. I can't, and it's going to be your game too.
Yeah. All right.
Man, all right. But go ahead, continue on that one.
No, I mean, I like this stuff because it's a great entry point into absinthe if you're curious about it. Mm-hmm. Like, it's not super expensive. A lot of like higher end, nicer absinthes can be like $70 a bottle.
Yeah.
Which is a little prohibitive if you're just curious about it. And there's a lot of strong flavors in absinthe, which not everyone is super into. In particular, star anise is a big flavor component, which for those of you who don't know what it tastes like, it's black licorice. If you like black licorice, you will probably dig absinthe. If you don't, you will not.
And if you don't, then you're one of those smart people.
Yeah, no, it's gross.
Yeah.
However, if you use it in cocktails sparingly, it can add a lot of depth of flavor because it's a very complex spirit in its own right. And that's what this is good for, I thought, is cocktails and just as a good entry point. I didn't really have anything beyond that other than it's an interesting liqueur and it's green and it makes you hallucinate if you drink a lot of it. Wonderful.
That fits perfectly. All right, as it fits in a cocktail, what cocktail would you make with the damn smooth absinthe for drinking while you play Arkham Knight?
That is a great question that I had not thought about.
Okay.
But now I'm going to have to.
So ponder it for a minute, and I'll let you ponder while I talk about my choice for this pairing here.
Okay.
So I went State 38 as well, And I did the one that I'm actually currently sipping on, which was their Colorado Day release from a couple years ago. This is their bourbon and, yeah, just straight bourbon whiskey. Wanted to be sure it wasn't a different whiskey that they used. Finished in port barrels. And so I went, again, kind of thematic overtones of the game as well. I think the port finish gives it a lot of dark, deep red fruit flavors. It gives it a lot more depth. But it's also... it is a little bit darker than some Batman stories as well. It does seem to be a lot more, like you said, he becomes more violent, he becomes more aggressive. This has got a lot of really strong flavors in it, but nothing that is potentially like overpowering of everything else, with that very dark thematic element from the port as well. I think, and State 38 just produces some phenomenal spirits. Their absinthe as well, I tried a cocktail with it. I am not, like I said, I cannot stand the black licorice flavor. Disgusting. Their cocktail with it, phenomenal. Like, absolutely spectacular. So
let me ask you, what was the cocktail that you had with it?
that is a wonderful question. I don't remember.
Great, because I was going to just say,
Just
that's
say
the one.
that, the cocktail?
Yeah.
That's a brilliant idea. Yep.
It could actually, if you use it sparingly, like just like a half jigger, you could throw it into like maybe even a dark and stormy, just to add like some depth, and you could kind of make a dark and stormy taste a little bit, actually more like root beer,
Yeah.
if that's your bag.
Okay. Well, that could be pretty good.
I'm just off the top of my head, that's kind of what I'm thinking of. It's hard to invent a cocktail with absinthe.
Yeah, that's fair. I didn't know if you had one just like a cocktail that you like with it, but I actually also really love that idea, and here's why. That's going to pair perfectly with that, because Batman for me is absolutely childhood related, as is root beer. So you get yourself a nice root beer while you're playing Batman, but it's way more adult.
Yeah.
As is your beverage. I think that fits perfectly.
Sure. Okay.
There we go.
All right. We're making it work.
We crushed it right there. Perfect pairing as it was. All right, 2 games left to go. Before we do, I do want to throw this one out here because one of the suggestions that we had was Kingdom Hearts.
Oh my God.
And my wife had the most perfect pairing for this that I have to give her so much credit. She absolutely crushed this entirely.
I'm curious.
That she did not decide to stick with, like, it does fit in the one game, but she said you have to take this and do the whole series. And you have to pair it with the entire Archetype distillery. Everything that they do.
Okay.
Now, the reason being is Archetype does only vodka and gin. But they infuse all of it. Everything's vacuum infused. And so, when we visited there in Vail, I had a dirty martini, blue cheese dirty martini, with literally just a blue cheese infused vodka and a olive infused gin. And that, like, they just mix those two together.
Funky.
But it tastes like you have blue cheese and olives in the drink, like sitting there in your drink.
Wow.
But you just sip it, and it's phenomenal. The reason she said you have to do this is because you've got all sorts of wild choices. There's so many things that you can do that are completely off the wall.
Oh my God.
But there's an infinite number of choices, and it can be fun and it can be funky, but there's also a lot of like more mature kind of themes to it and a little
sort
more.
of.
So, well, yeah, I mean, it's not like Batman mature, but
Yeah, the famous children's cartoon.
yeah, exactly. True. But I thought that worked really well. I thought she did a good job. Like, when she mentioned that to me, I was like, I don't have a good idea for that.
I
and
don't
you
either.
Just blew me out of the water.
I was actually I was considering saying we should do Kingdom Hearts just because it's fun to talk about, but then I started thinking to myself, what would I say about Kingdom Hearts? And I spent 20 minutes just trying to be like, okay, so this is the general basic bare bonesest plot. And I was like, that's not going to work.
No.
It's such a weird series.
Oh, yeah.
So hard to...
It's absolutely wild. But that's why I think it works phenomenal for Archetype, and I think she absolutely crushed it.
Totally.
As a side note, and a huge shout out to them as well, if you are a fan of port and cheese, get that blue cheese vodka and float a tiny amount on top of a glass of port. And it's perfect.
Whoa, that sounds great.
It is so good because you get that funky blue cheese with the sweet port. All of it goes together, and it's like having you can have the cheese board as well, but it does it all in one glass, and it works so good. Plus, they're phenomenal folks up there in Vail, so go check them out if you haven't checked them out. But also, yeah, huge shout out to my wife for Archetype Distillery with
blue cheese vodka. I never would have thought to try that, but that does sound like a good pairing.
Oh, it's a wonderful pairing. So I had that martini there. The guy behind the bar goes, get this, get a port, do this. And I was like, okay, that sounds like a good idea. So we did exactly that, went over to my father's house for something and did like a port and cheese day.
Sure.
And my dad and I were the only two that like blue cheese. His wife and my wife do not care for blue cheese whatsoever. So more for us. And yeah, sure enough, every glass of port we would float just a little bit right on the top.
That's a great idea.
And a couple of times we'd float a little bit extra after we took our first couple of sips of that port because it really was. It pairs so good together. So huge shout out to them for a wonderful, I guess, cocktail basically that I would have never thought of.
Yeah.
That works so well.
Oh, that's great.
So well. So awesome. With 2 games left, let's go with your classic game.
Okay, so yeah, like I said up front, my classic game is The Secret of Monkey Island, which is the first in the series. There are 5 of them by this point, although there are 3 that the original creators consider to be like the real ones. Numbers 3 and 4 in the franchise were made by totally different teams because the original creators didn't own the rights to them, and it was a whole thing. Not that they're bad games, but they are quite different from the original 2, and then now the 5th one, which was not remade, but made by the original creator Ron Gilbert.
Okay.
Through his own indie studio.
Cool.
Which is great fun, and it's on Steam, and it's, I mean, if you like old school point-and-click adventure type games where you just, solving puzzles, and they're hilariously written. They're so, like, charming and silly. Yeah, it's about a guy named Guybrush Threepwood.
Guybrush, yep.
Guybrush Threepwood, which is such an odd name.
That's a great
There's actually
name.
a great story behind it, too.
Is there? Okay.
So Threepwood, the file for the character sprite in the original game was a dot brush file. That's just like the file extension type.
Cool.
But they didn't have a name for the character. They couldn't think of one. So the file was guy.brush. So people started calling him Guybrush.
Perfect.
But they couldn't think of a last name that sounded good with it, so they had a company-wide, just like, submit a name and we'll see if we like it. And someone submitted Threepwood, and they were like, what is that? It's perfect.
Yeah.
So he became Guybrush Threepwood, and he's just this little wannabe who just shows up in the Caribbean in like this fictionalized comedic version of like the golden age of piracy on Malay Island. And by gosh, he wants to be a pirate.
Yeah.
And indeed, throughout the course of the game, he bumbles his way into being one of the greatest pirates of all time through solving incredibly esoteric but very entertaining puzzles and getting marooned on the titular Monkey Island, which they say no one can get to or escape from. But if you bumble around long enough, you sure can.
There's a whole
fighting the
pirate
ghost-
franchise now based on that.
It's so much fun. It's really just a lot of fun. So to pair with this, I chose the piratiest of all beverages.
There you go. Yep.
I chose grog.
Did you? All right.
Absolutely.
Sweet.
So grog is... Actually, pirates didn't drink grog. Grog didn't get invented until the golden age of piracy was long dead. It was invented by the British Navy, actually. The sworn enemy of pirates.
Wonderful. That makes it somehow better.
A little bit.
Like, fits just really well. Yeah.
So I chose... sorry. Where did I write that down? I chose Bear Creek. Their spiced rum or their silver rum would both work great for this. Traditionally, it would be made with barrel-aged silver rum because spices are expensive, and this was a Navy drink. And
Yeah.
while every sailor got a daily ration of rum, they did not get a daily ration of cinnamon. That would have been so expensive back then.
Oh, yeah.
So grog, essentially... I mean, it's got this mythical status as this, like, legendary pirate drink. It's like the secret stuff, but it's basically just rum watered down a little bit with lime juice and molasses or brown sugar to keep you from getting scurvy and to keep you from feeling the hangover from yesterday's grog.
Perfect.
And it's actually really tasty. So if you go with the silver, it's going to be a little more classic. It's very simple. It's like one of those classic, like an old school daiquiri, where there's only like 3 ingredients, but if you mix them right and you have good quality ingredients, change your life. Like, it's phenomenally delicious if you have good rum and like fresh lime and like good turbinado or like
Excellent.
good molasses.
Guess I'm going to have some grog soon.
Oh man, it's so tasty.
That's
And
wonderful.
Bear Creek is just... I chose Bear Creek specifically because a lot of Colorado rums, they're kind of spiced more with Christmas spices.
Yep, I would completely agree with
And that's not very piratey.
Sorry.
So I just kind of... Because the flavor profile of Bear Creek in particular is a little closer to Caribbean rum.
Yeah, I would agree with that as well.
So I think that was a good fit for the piratiest of pirate games, with the possible exception of Sid Meier's Pirates.
Yeah. That's fair. That is the... Yeah. That's probably the piratiest of pirate games.
It's in the name.
Yep.
Yeah.
If you're going to call your game Pirates...
With an exclamation point. He meant it.
Oh, then yeah, that's definitely the one.
It's Sid Meier's Pirates.
So I would like to emphasize, once again, no communication prior to this in choosing our spirits or pairings for this.
Oops.
I did not play this game, unfortunately, but my wife and I will absolutely be purchasing that $10 version of it on Xbox and trying to play through however they modernized it and check it out.
Oh, it's the same game as it always was.
Can't wait.
It just looks better.
I am so excited. I'm a little sad I'm going to miss out on the 8-bit characters. There's something that's just
you can switch back in real time.
Oh, even better.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, I think it's one of the function keys just hot swaps back and forth between the versions.
Beautiful. Then we'll be playing that here very soon, and I cannot wait. But I did watch it was probably a 15-minute recap video that just walked you through everything in the story.
They're incredibly charming.
Watching all of the ridiculous things that happen, having the guy who's doing the video explain how semi-absurd and ridiculous all of these things are, I had to be like, okay, Bear Creek was also my choice. And because, again, these are some guys that like to have fun. These are not the overly serious, take everything. Them and Mile High Spirits, I think, are probably two of the ones that are like, we're here to, we make booze. This is fun. This is not always got to be buttoned down. And I appreciate the buttoned down approach to a lot of them, and you make good spirits that way. And I, too, chose their rum, and I chose their barrel-aged spiced rum. But I went with the cask strength 5-year because...
that's so piratey. Cask strength is...
Exactly. And I had to do that, and the 5-year is just an absolutely excellent bottle. I got to try it. This bottle actually has not been opened, so we're going to take a hot second and open it, but I'm going to edit that out because the crackling of the paper is really loud, and you guys don't want to listen to that. And now that we have that opened, and you are back, with the magic of editing, no time had passed. It took me 20 minutes to get that open.
It was unbelievable. He got stuck in a closet.
It's crazy. This house is very confusing to me.
It's like the House of Leaves. Don't visit.
But I'm going to go ahead and have a little bit of this one too, because I got into a very piratey rum drinking mood by just watching that 15-minute...
Oh, it'll get you.
It was absolutely excellent. And hopefully one day I will be able to match Guybrush's special talent of holding his breath for 10 straight minutes.
You know, there is a section where they put that to the test, and if you wait a full 10 minutes, he drowns.
No kidding.
Actually,
you can go. They put a timer in there.
It's actually if you wait for 10 minutes, yeah, he runs out of breath, and you have to reload your save.
That is phenomenal.
It's such a good detail.
That is an excellent detail. But yeah, so rum, obviously, all the same reasons that you just mentioned is why I chose rum. But Bear Creek, again, I think those guys they like to have a lot of fun.
Oh, sure.
If you follow their social media, check them out on Instagram, you'll see their posts, you see their reels. They are very fun people. And you can check out my episode with them as well to learn even more about the fun that they like to have. So I would highly recommend that, and not just because it gives me more views and helps support the site. Subscribe, like, all the YouTube stuff.
No. Okay, fine.
So let's see. That leaves us with just one game left to go, and that is my classic game, which, as we said at the top of the episode, is Halo Combat Evolved.
Redefine the genre. If you've ever played any first-person shooter on a console, it's because Halo exists.
And it is, that is definitely that one hits me nostalgia almost as hard as any other game. I think the only two that I can go back and play the original game and still be like, I love every second of this, even if it doesn't feel quite the same as I remember it when I was a kid. That'd be Ocarina of Time and Final Fantasy X. Final Fantasy X has a huge nostalgia factor for me personally, just because I got to play with my grandma a whole lot, and same thing with Ocarina of Time. So those two there. But then Halo was one of the first games. It was the first game I ever got a job for to save up to buy an Xbox to buy Halo, and it was this is such an awesome game. It was such a cool experience. And
truly revolutionary.
It got me hooked into the first-person shooter genre, but it also really kind of broadened my horizons on video games, because I didn't venture outside of Zelda, really. That was what I played.
Yeah.
And so this one, for what I chose with that, is because it's bold, it really makes a statement, and it got me hooked on everything that they have. I went with Distillery 291's High Rye release, and that's because there's kind of an edge to it. There's a lot of things going on. It was such a wild game. Unexpected turns, because the first time I tried 291, even though it said Aspen Stave finished, I still was not expecting the Aspen flavor,
yeah.
which comes through just beautifully. And then it really surprised me, much in the same way that the first time you're playing that game, it's like this awesome space exploration, and then all of a sudden, like, one mission starts, and it becomes a space horror zombie.
Oh my god, yeah, it turns into...
And you're like, what did I just do? How did I just drop from, like, crazy Star Wars almost feeling like versus aliens, though, and just this weird, awesome fantasy sci-fi to straight horror.
But then it, like, also really artfully just jumps back and forth between the two. Like, you'll have a section where it's like you're white-knuckling that controller because you're so tense fighting, like, the zombies. And then you go back to, like, all right, let's kill some aliens. And, oh, God, the zombies showed up again.
And, yeah, the Flood was just such a cool and unexpected...
great idea, too.
Yeah.
And they flesh out the world.
And they did it so well. And so I think that does great with... Again, my first experience with 291 was... I was not expecting that Aspen flavor to be as aspeny as it was. And the only way I can ever describe that flavor is when you walk into an aspen grove in the fall and the leaves are on the ground and you just breathe deep. Mm-hmm. That's how it tastes. And it's so good and absolutely phenomenal. So
excellent.
The other thing is 291, they pay an insane amount of attention to detail. And I think Bungie did a phenomenal job of paying an insane amount of attention to detail.
Oh, very much so.
And it shows through in the final product without question.
Oh, absolutely.
So Distillery 291, High Rye, that gets my nod for that one.
That's a great choice.
It's such a good bottle.
So this one I actually had some trouble with because I also have a deep nostalgia for it. And I kept trying to think of, like, I don't know what would fit with the gameplay themes, but it didn't. I wasn't really... I already had rum for the pirates, and I was like, well, rum would work for this too, because, you know, he's a space marine, and the Marines they're part of the Navy, and the Navy had rum, but it didn't feel right.
No, that's fair.
It just didn't fit with the... So I just kind of went with more of a personal attachment that I have. So I actually went to college for Zymergy, which is, you know, brewing. It's the science of brewing. And I make beer as a hobby still to this day. No career out of it, but what are you going to do?
I'll drink it. I mean, yeah.
Well, next time I make a batch.
We'll drink it together. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
So every time I'm stewing the grains, you know, there's the famous, they call them barks, just like the little background noises that characters will make. Like your Marines will be like, we got a hostile or something. Yeah. So the big badass enemy aliens that you fight are called elites in the game, if you don't know. And they have a really common bark that they'll do to you in their alien language, which sounds like work, work, work.
Yep.
And so every time I'm stirring up the grains to stew them, I just always say to myself, work, 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 work.
Love it.
Work, work, work.
Fantastic.
So for those of you who aren't familiar, the grain tea that you ferment into beer is called wort. And I just can't help myself every time. I'm just work, work, work.
Yeah.
So I just went with my favorite beer, which
Fair.
is Crooked Stave's Nightmare on Brett, because that also is a very, very nostalgic brewery and beer for me. That was right when I was first getting into craft beer. And when they were first getting started, I mean, like, when they were in, you know, one of those little strips of little warehouse garages in Denver,
Yep.
I just so happened to live, like, 4 blocks away from them.
Oh, nice.
So I would walk over there all the time and I would talk to the brewers, and they would, like, take me back and see all the barrel aging equipment, and we'd, you know, talk turkey on brewing beer and techniques and stuff, and, like, how did you come up with the idea for this? Yeah, and their Nightmare on Brett is just, that was the first time I was like, oh, you can make a sour on purpose and it tastes great instead of just weird.
Yeah.
And I mean, I learned a lot from them just by, you know, shooting the breeze and just wandering over there at 3 p.m. and having a couple beers and just chatting with them.
That's one of my favorite beers.
Super nostalgic beer for me, super nostalgic game, and the most tenuous of connections I could get is the word wort.
Hey, you know what, though? I love it. I also like that you chose Nightmare, especially after I just talked about how they just suddenly drop into a horror
Didn't even think about that. I mean, yes, I did. It was intentional all along.
Always on purpose. No matter what. That is always on purpose. No, that was great. There's a few other games that I really did want to get to that we had some great suggestions on. If we do this again, I absolutely will get to a few of them. Resident Evil 2, Alan Wake were a couple that I did want to touch base on, the Assassin's Creed series, but there is one kind of bonus pairing I want to throw out, again, since I did just start working with the Locked On Avalanche podcast. I would like to pair one with EA's NHL series.
Is it going to be, what is it? Don't tell me. It's Pink...
The Pink Whitney?
Pink Whitney.
It is not going to be Pink Whitney.
I mean, that's the obvious choice.
I stuck with Colorado. I went with a very obvious choice, though. Oh. If you know anything about the Avalanche and Colorado Distilling. Distilling, that's the word, yeah. Distilling, yes. Man, that cask strength rum is really cask strength,
really strong,
isn't it?
Yeah.
No, Colorado Distilling. The Avalanche, after winning the Stanley Cup, could not find a bar. I don't know if you actually know this story. They could not find a bar with enough booze to host their Stanley Cup championship party.
Amazing.
And so they finally got to Mile High Spirits. Distillery's got more than enough booze to host an entire team of hockey players who just want to drink all night.
Oh my God.
While there, a bunch of the players selected a barrel, which then got bottled and sold as the championship select.
Oh, that's so cool.
And so I have a bottle of that at home because course I do. And that's what I'm pairing with EA's NHL because, hey, we're going to win the cup again and I'll get a new bottle this year too. So
yeah, man.
That's what we're going to do. That's the bonus pairing. But, man, this was a blast. This was absolutely awesome.
Yeah,
I love these pairings. These are always really fun to do. I got the idea actually by doing a guest spot on Locked On. They had me pair with players. And so I've constantly been thinking, like, what can I pair with? I've come up with a couple of ideas for, like, albums and stuff like that. But then I was like, I really like video games, especially single-player video games, and I really like whiskey. So these seem like two things I can pair together very nicely. And so it was. Man, but now I really am going to have to get an Albarino. I can't get that off my mind.
They're delectable.
They are phenomenal. And Bookcliff sounds like the perfect choice, so hopefully my local liquor store has one and I can pick it up tomorrow.
I believe they're selling the 2024 right now, which is about right. You don't want any older than that.
No, that should be great.
Off.
Yeah, no, that sounds fantastic. So if you guys enjoyed this, for reals, go ahead, give it a like, give it a subscribe on YouTube. Give us a review on Spotify, on Apple. Follow us there. Share it around. Interact with it. Engage with it any way you can. All of those things. I read all your comments, hence getting these suggestions for games to have for this. I really like interacting with it and just sharing all these stories. So let me know your guys' favorite games, single-player story-driven games, and what drink from Colorado you would pair with that game in any of the comments. Otherwise, you can find Mile High Bourbon on all social medias. Just search at Mile High Bourbon. It is every one of them, all the same. Makes it very easy so that you don't have to think too hard in trying to find me. Give us a follow, subscribe, support, all of those things. Again, check out Paydirt DFS. The link will be down in the show notes. Anytime you click and support that, also helps support me. Get yourself a little bit better at Daily Fantasy Sports. Thank you again for being an affiliate to Paydirt. And a huge shout out to Roma Ransom, as always, for doing the intro, outro music. Follow them online on all the social media to see what brewery or distillery they're probably playing at next, and catch yourself a good show with some great drinks. Ben, again, thank you very much. Cheers. I appreciated all of this. This was a blast. So We'll catch you guys all on the next episode of a Colorado Craft Podcast.
Cheers.